Hey, what's up? It's Joe. So, this is a bit of a new format for my podcast. I may end up doing this on a regular basis, I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll just call it a regular rants for now. But it's an attempt to really cover things I don't get to talk about either in my Friday podcast or during the guest interviews that I do on a weekly basis. So, maybe it's a bit of maybe a shorter format podcast where I'll just rant about whatever's on my mind. I'm always thinking of something, and for the benefit of society or the detriment of society, I'll record more of these and unleash them onto you all. So anyway, I was having lunch with a friend of mine today, and this person comes from a background of working in big tech and is now doing consulting and also making content. So, and if you've done consulting, I think you quickly realize that it's good money. It's you get paid, do some work, maybe get paid some more. But when the work is done, the work is done, right? And in the end, you've got some money. But for most people doing consulting, you haven't really built anything of substance or like an asset, right, for yourself. Whereas the stuff like content, those are assets that every video you make, every blog post you make, every talk you give, and things of that nature, you're really putting yourself out there. And these are things that people can, look at and I guess assess your credibility. And if they like it, perhaps drive business to you, whether that's, booking you for a consulting engagement, buying your course, buying your book, consuming more content, telling your friends about you and so forth, right? So content's interesting in that sense where it's very much one-to-many. Consulting's very much one-to-one. I've talked about this in the past. And the thing with consulting, I think you realize really quickly is it's great, but it doesn't scale, right? It just is one of these things where the money's good. Hopefully you're charging enough. If the money's bad, reassess your business model. But let's assume the money is good. But you're typically trading your time for money, right? And so it's really no different than having a job, except you don't get the benefits of having a job. In the US, it's probably going to be health insurance and whatever other perks employers provide you these days. But, consulting is good. I think if you need some short-term cash, consulting is great. But if you're looking to build something that's a lot more sustainable and long-lasting, having run a consultancy for a long time and knowing a lot of consultants, I would say it's a business where you either have to go big or go home. Running a boutique shop is great. That's what I've done for years. But at a certain point, you're kind of like, is this it? Am I just going to be doing these engagements with, me and the client, or me and my business partner and the client? Or can we figure out a way to scale what we're doing past, maybe one of us, two of us, consultants and so forth? And so that's the route I took, right? And so my friend is just asking, do I want to spend more time? Should I spend more time doing content? Should I spend it more doing consulting? And I said, look, you're in a position financially where you need to. If I were in your shoes, I'm gonna be doing content. I'm gonna try and limit the amount of consulting I do because there's almost a negative, net present value to consulting. If you in time value of money, you're typically taught that a dollar today is worth more tomorrow, right? But a dollar of consulting money is actually worth less tomorrow because that's time that you could have spent building content and building assets that would contribute to your longevity and contribute to you being able to get out of the bubble of obscurity, which most people are in, and work on things that you really want to do, right? So I told my friend, look, I would be doing as little consulting as possible and really being intentional about the deals I do take, if I take them. And I'm going to be focusing the rest of my time on building content because that's the asset that I'm building that's going to help propel me to where I need to go. Sure, the money short term, it's great. This person's in a position where they don't really, need it immediately. And so I would say take advantage of the situation, right? Make the content, focus on the long game. Don't just focus on, getting every consulting engagement that you can, because in the end, it's like, this if you've done consulting. Once the gig's over, you got to go to your next one, right? So it's constantly just feast, famine, and feeding the beast, as they call it in the consulting world, feeding the beast, just trying to get more revenue. So anyway, yeah, that would, I'd urge you to think about that. Like, what's the opportunity cost to you doing something that's going to build something for you for the long term, right? Sometimes you're going to have to say no to certain things because that presents opportunity cost, and it might get in the way of, pursuing things that maybe they don't have a short-term payoff, but long-term, it sets you up for something much bigger and better. Maybe that's writing a book. Maybe that's, writing a Substack blogs. Maybe that's, making videos, or, getting out and giving talks, or just getting out and meeting people, building your network. But do things that are going to, help you scale past the one-to-one of consulting. Now, if you like doing consulting, terrific. Keep going at it. Not telling you no. For me personally, I could care less if I do another consulting engagement ever, to be frank. I mean, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And for me, my career at this point is about, challenging myself in new areas. Consulting doesn't do that for me, right? I'm going to be talking more about this in the upcoming rant about, moving from, quote, practitioner to something else. And sort of, I think the flaws in that argument, right? We're always practitioners at something. We're always, and the thing is, what got us here is not going to get us there. And then, like I told my friend, there's a net present value that it's probably negative in his case, right? $1 today is actually worth less tomorrow, not more, because you're not putting that into something that's going to grow, right? You got to think in terms of investments and building assets that have compounding growth, not just got to finish out this engagement so we can get the next one. Sure, you get references, but I would say the world of one-to-many is just a lot greener and a lot better if you can do it. Now, obviously, this is coming from probably a very privileged position to say this. So if you need to make the money now and that's all you have, and you don't have reserves like my friend does, or maybe people in a very similar position, then yeah, do the consulting, build up that war chest, build up that cash. But at some point, you're going to have to ask yourself, is this getting me to where I need to go? If I did this for another 20 years, would I be happy? Is this going to keep me going? Because at some point, it is about the money. It's not about the money, but it's about setting yourself up, for future possibilities where you could probably make more money. Right? I know a lot of people who go into content education, and I think just sticking it out, they find their niche. I got several friends who are making, upper six figures and seven figures right now, more than they would at a regular tech job, even being, with a leadership title and stuff. So I'd ask you, and they're happier too. The thing is, they have the control of their schedule. They're doing things they want to do. So that's, maybe it's education, maybe it's something else. But I'd say find something that is of interest to you, and maybe go that direction. The number of people that I know who are very uncertain about what they want to do. It's practically everybody, right? And that sucks. Everyone seems to be killing it from the outside, right? But when you talk to them, get to know them, it's a different story. I can't remember who said it, but all men lead lives of quiet desperation, and I think this is true. And then a lot of it comes from just not doing the stuff that you need to be doing. So figure out what that is. I found what I want to do, right? I'm going to be growing that a lot. But it means saying no to practically everything else, right? I'm recording this week. I'm not at reInvent, which is happening this week in Vegas. I would love to be there. But I got some projects I'm going to knock out, and I'm going to go spend some time with a really good friend of mine, whose time I value more than being at a conference. And that's what's important to me, right? So the opportunity cost is not going to reInvent, potentially, meeting up with friends. But the thing is, at this age of my career, going to reInvent isn't going to change much for me, right? It's not going to get me any more deals or any less deals than I already have, right? It's up to me to produce what I need to do to put myself to the next level. Going to a conference isn't going to help that, right? But that's me. That's not you. That's not anybody else, right? So I'm doing what makes sense for my situation, but that means saying no to a lot of stuff, right? I can't even tell you how many people are asking me, am I at reInvent right now? And I'm like, no, I decided not to go. It's a personal decision. I'm kind of conferenced out. I need to save my energy for building stuff at this point. I need to get a book. I got to get, some new courses, got a new business and so forth. And this is where I need to invest my time. My time isn't going to be spent being on the road as much for a while, because it's just I need to focus on what I need to do when this is, and sure, that's passing up, good opportunities for me, paid speaking engagements and all this other stuff. I'll certainly do those where it makes sense, but, you got to know how to prioritize and be true to understanding and coming, and pulling through on the things that are going to put you in a better situation. So again, if you're doing stuff like consulting, great, more power to you. It's a great field. You can make a lot of money doing it. But if you feel in the back of your head that this isn't the path for you, if you feel like there's probably more sustainable ways of making money, I would say don't hesitate to put more attention towards those things. The worst thing you can do is double down on the thing that is gonna, just it has high opportunity costs. You don't get your time back, right? And as tempting as the money is, you're gonna look back at some point and wonder, okay, so if I double down, on the things that I knew would provide better long-term benefit, maybe I should have done that. For me, I would have, gone down the route I'm down now probably much sooner, right? But I didn't. I'm not going to make any regrets. I think I have a very wonderful, blessed existence right now and career, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, right? But is there more work for me to do? Absolutely. I feel like for me, it's always day one. Now, it's not like a cheesy Amazonian, but, that's... that everyone has their own situation, right? I think at the end of the day, you're only competing with yourself. So figure out which game you're in, how you want to play it, and do your best at playing that game every day in and day out. That's at the end of the day, that's what you're gonna be proud of when you look back on it, on your career and everything else, right? And I'm sure if you have family, they'll be proud of looking at what you've accomplished too, versus just grinding it out, just doing stuff just for money. There's more to life than just money, right? And I think if you're having fun, the money follows. So anyway, that's my rant. Like I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to call this show, regular rants or Joe's rants or whatever. But expect more of these podcasts, right? I might be doing them frequently or as the time works. But anyway, hope you like this. I'm curious about your feedback on this format. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.